Hi, everybody. This is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. And I have with me one of the team from what I think is one of the most amazing platform protocol cryptocurrency projects out there. Eat your heart out, Cardano, Polkadot, Ethereum, and all of that, because this one is coming. Want to make money in crypto? This is Token Metrics. Token Metrics helps crypto investors build profitable portfolios using artificial intelligence-based crypto indices, trading indicators, rankings, and price predictions for more than 6,000 crypto assets. Affiliate link in the description below. Please watch out for comments from scammers purporting to be me or other crypto YouTubers asking you to contact them. Do not contact them. Hey, Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. And we are talking about Veruscoin. And Veruscoin, and I just want people to know, this is an amazing project. And not just because I say so, but because it is amazing. And one of the ways I think that it distinguishes itself from Ethereum and Polkadot and Cardano and many of the other platform protocols is because it is fully decentralized, open source, community-based project, no raise. You can mine it on a CPU from the day it was launched, which was, I think, back in May or June 2018. I've been covering it since June 2018. So it's mineable and stakeable on a CPU, which means anybody can mine it. There was no pre-mine, no raise, like I said, no dev fund, no team fund. And its ethos and value is to make blockchain available for people so that people can use it any way that they want. Is there anything I've missed out there, Michael, that might be critical?
No, I mean, like you said, we're basically trying to bring the original Bitcoin ethos, I would say, into this next generation of a multi-chain future, trying to create this interconnected, decentralized ecosystem.
Yes. And it has some amazing, remarkable features. And what we're going to do in this video in a moment is go through the testnet, because Mainnet is coming soon. I don't know when, but it's coming soon. And the testnet has all kinds of features which will allow anybody or any organization to launch their own blockchain with the click of a button. Even somebody like me, I could just launch a blockchain with crypto rich coins and have them backed by ETH and Veruscoin or whatever I wanted, pretty much, right? So we're going to be going through that. But Michael, do you want to introduce yourself, say who you are and what you do as part of the community?
Yeah, so I'm Michael. I'm the lead community GUI developer for Verus. I develop the mobile wallets that we use and the desktop wallets that we use, and I kind of help bring our massively powerful backend tools to a friendly user interface so they can be accessible by the everyday user. Just like anyone else in the Verus community, I'm just a member of our original community that started around 3 years ago, and I was one of the original authors of the white paper, the vision paper, and I kind of am doing everything I can to make our vision of truth and privacy for all a reality. Yes,
truth and privacy. It's good that you mentioned privacy because it has Z addresses.
That's correct.
And Veruscoin was born out. It's out of the Komodo stable, part of the Komodo stable ecosystem. And you designed the GUI, or one of the people that designed the wallet for Veruscoin, which is, I think, a beautiful wallet, and replaced the Agama wallet, which was the wallet for the Komodo assets. And now they recommend using the Veruscoin wallet.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to go through the testnet, try out some of the features. You're going to explain them to me and test them out. You're going to create some blockchains or something, right? And then also we're going to talk about the identity system as well.
Right. We won't be creating any blockchains today, but we will be looking through community-created blockchains. We'll be seeing how we can convert between them, and I'll explain kind of what they mean, what they represent.
Yep. Thank you for saying that. And the reason we won't be creating any blockchains, it takes about half an hour for it to be configured when you create one to be made up or something. Is that right?
It takes a few confirmations. It's not that long for like you're creating a new blockchain that's part of this whole ecosystem. So it's for what it is, it's easy. But right now, you need to use the command line interface to do it. And so you need to kind of have everything configured and set up and kind of, know how to know your way around a terminal. And yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, let me give you permission to share your screen, and then you can take me through it. Yep, you can do that.
All right. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right.
590 Verus testnet coins, which have no value whatsoever.
Right. So none of these have any value, but they're all testnet coins. But so this is our main Verus testnet. And then MDX and Moon I've chosen out of the available PBAS currencies that we have right now on testnet, because these have both been launched by members of our community without any, core. There's a few community devs that do a lot of work. None of those have participated. It's just been people that have been interested in the system and have wanted to start their own chain, put everything together, and jumped into this network.
Okay. So, well, now I'm going to interrupt you and stop you because I have all these questions going on. If somebody wanted to try this out for themselves, you go to the Veruscoin website, download the wallet. You actually don't need any Veruscoin just to play with the testnet. You download the wallet, you open it up, you select testnet. I mean, do you want to go through that very quickly?
Yeah. You go to verus.io. There will be a link, the big blue button to get wallet. You download the wallet, and then you can go to verus.io/discord. If you want, anyone will give you testnet coins. You can ask me or anybody else in the community, and we're giving them away. So get some coins, try it out.
Cool. Okay. All right. Very good. Well, I'm going to get some testnet coins. Okay, let's go. So we got 590 Veruscoin testnet coins.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Show me.
Well, would you like me to start with something specific, or should I just get into it?
Just get into it.
All right. So I have 590 testnet coins. I already made a conversion to Moon, which is a community coin, and I got 130 Moon. I have 0 MDX, so let's say that I wanted some MDX, and the chain has launched. So I go here to convert. It gives me the options of what currencies I can convert to. And then the important thing to note here is that MDX is a completely separate blockchain to Verus Test. And so there's no...
Sorry, Michael, excuse me. Every now and then, I'm going to interrupt you, and I'm probably going to remind you that I'm going to interrupt you. These other ones that have come up, are these all created on testnet as well?
These are all testnet coins, yeah. So there's tokens, which are here. They're basically on a chain. It'll tell you here what chain they're on. So this is BTC on Verus Test, euros, UR on Verus Test. Then there's GBP, Verus Test, Gold, Verus Test. And then there's also tokens on Moon and stuff, and you can convert between those as well. But for right now, I'm going to be sending from one chain to another, which is kind of a major, it implies a lot, because it basically means that anyone that creates their own chain will automatically, if they want, be connected to all these other chains. No need for an exchange listing, no need for any centralized sort of bartering service. You just have on-chain direct conversions.
Okay, so the equivalent of that might be, this is just as a metaphor, so people can get what Veruscoin are creating, that I would be able to convert. Currently, if I want to go from Ethereum, say, to Polkadot, I got to go through some sort of DEX that bridges both, or I got to go through a centralized exchange. But what the Verus testnet people can do in the Verus testnet is you can go from one chain that's as distinct, as separate, to another chain that's completely separate without an intermediary, without going to a DEX, without going to an exchange, and it's done magically over the Verus blockchain somehow.
Yeah, it's not magic. It's It's the big thing here is that you don't really need someone to come up to you and say, "Hey, I'll sell you some." Whether it's decentralized or centralized, there can be DEXs, there can be centralized exchanges. In most cases that I can think of, if not all, you need someone on the other end basically saying, "Hey, I'll sell you this much." And then whether or not the agreement is made in a decentralized medium or a centralized one, there's still you making an agreement with another person saying, "I'll swap for this," right? And on the Verus network, it's done through reserve currencies. So basically, you have Verus Test, and then you have MDX or Moon, and they're two separate blockchains. And then there's this currency in between that's a bridge that basically has a reserve which you can think of as kind of, the gold used to be the reserve for the dollar, meaning you could exchange your dollars for the equivalent value in gold because they were backed, right? So you have this bridge that's backed by a basket of both VRSTest and MDX, right? So then converting from VRSTest to MDX, all you need to do is you need to redeem your value in VRSTest in this bridge currency, and then redeem whatever you have in your bridge currency in MDX, and now you've successfully made a conversion. And in PBAS, you don't even need to think about the bridge. So if I just enter MDX here, it'll tell you is going versus the Transmogrify, which is what our community member chose to name his MDX bridge. But I don't need to think about the bridge. It's going to MDX, and it'll arrive in my MDX wallet, and that's what I see. So I don't need to think about going through an intermediate step.
Okay. Well, and how does the pricing work out?
The pricing is basically algorithmically determined by the amount of people that convert in and out of the reserve currency. And so the more people that go into the bridge from VRSTest, the higher the price of the bridge in VRSTest will be. And the more people that go out of the bridge in VRSTest, the lower the price of the bridge in VRSTest will be. And it also works that way for whatever else is in the basket of currencies that the bridge is a reserve of. So the bridge also has MDX, and so its price relative to MDX is also determined by how many people go in and out with their MDX. Right. When it launches, there's an initial price, but then as people kind of go in and out of it, the price will quickly adjust to whatever.
Demand, depending upon demand. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I can now, I'm in my MDX wallet. As you can see, it's a separate wallet. I have different addresses. I'll take my MDX address, and then I'll convert my VRSTest to MDX. And I enter my address. I say, let's say I want to convert 100, and I get an estimated amount. This amount is based off of, so our front running, or the solution to front running, and also miner extracted value, is that all conversions happen simultaneously in a block, as if it was one big conversion. So all conversions in a block are aggregated, and they happen at once.
And the block time is a minute, if I remember correctly?
For a conversion?
No, for a block.
Oh yeah, our block time is a minute on average.
So it'd be pretty fast as well. Okay.
Yeah. So because of these aggregations, this price is based on the previous price, right? But it can change as is written here, because the price is determined when everything happens. Okay. So we're converting here. We say, okay, we want to convert, confirm everything. This is our fee, and confirm.
Now, just on the fee, I want to remind people, I know this, that there's a big fee pool, and all conversions pay fees in Verus, and then some of that fee goes into the fee pool, which is shared out with the stakers and the miners.
Actually, not necessarily. Okay. If you're converting cross-chain, and you're sending off of the chain, so say I'm converting from MDX to VRSTest, my fee will be paid in MDX because I'm on the MDX chain.
Right.
But you are correct about the fee pool, which is something that our miners and stakers are definitely really excited about, which is fees get aggregated into this fee pool, like you said, and they get distributed over kind of this 100 block rolling average. And so instead of having, huge block where a bunch of people make a bunch of conversions and then a dry spell of like no fees, or no not very high block rewards for the next few blocks, we'll have our block reward of 12, which is going to have, and then have again, and then have again, and then the average of the last 100 blocks of fees basically in that block, and continually. So they're kind of going to be distributed over this 100 block period. And what that'll do is it'll also help solve this question of like, what happens when the block reward becomes insignificant? What happens when 12 becomes 6, becomes 3, becomes 1.5, becomes, smaller and smaller until it's very little? Will there still be an incentive for people to mine and stake the network? These are all questions that many blockchains are having to answer right now. And our solution is, if we can use this fee pool, generate enough fees through conversions, people creating IDs, people creating chains, people just using the network, then what we can do is we can have this average, this 100-block average of fees being paid back to the network. And because there's no rent seeking or people taking anything out of the network, like profiting, like no centralized profit or anything, all the fees that are spent on these conversions, they go back into the network. And so it's this self-sustaining ecosystem where we're going to use the fees that pay the miners, that secure the network, that execute the conversions, that make the fees, that, you know, over and over again. And so.
Okay, very cool. And going the other way, I suppose, am I right in thinking each of the chains has their own fee pool as well?
Yeah, they're each separate chains.
So if somebody wanted to go from Moon or one of the other chains to MDX, you know, depending upon which direction, each of the respective fee pools would get a little bit from those conversions.
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. There's a lot of math involved, and I would have to look. Yeah. I did not write.
There's a lot of math and magic involved.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, more math than magic, but it seems like magic for sure. I mean, even to me, some of these things seem like magic. Mike, our lead developer, who wrote a lot of the math, we've talked for hours about these things, and it still baffles my mind. So.
Yes. Thank you, Michael. Have some compassion for people like me.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
So yeah, we see conversion got sent here. So here you'll see it's an estimated time. I can reselect this and go back to MDX, and it will show you. Oops, there we go. 20 to 30 minutes is around the time it takes for a cross-chain conversion to arrive. If I was converting to, let's say, KMD is a testnet token on top of VRSC. And so if I was converting on chain, it would be 2 to 10 minutes. Cross chain takes a bit longer, but yeah, we can, yeah, this will arrive in half an hour or so. Once it says send, it's going to arrive, or the chain will it's basically guaranteed to arrive. So,
right. So I'm definitely going to get it. Or is it that the transaction doesn't go through? Is there any risk of loss?
As long as the other chain continues, then this will arrive.
Okay.
So unless the entire chain was to somehow, I mean, they're all notarized into Verus as long as you can convert to them. And so the forks are notarized. I mean, it's kind of, it has a security system. So it relies on Verus hash power as well.
So it's not possible for someone to pull the plug and for the chain to stop, because all these chains are notarized onto the Verus blockchain, which is notarized onto the Komodo blockchain, which is notarized onto the Bitcoin blockchain, and I think soon to be the Litecoin blockchain instead. There's that happening with Komodo.
I would have to ask them. I'm not 100%.
Okay. But anyway, it gets notarized through these layers, which keeps it super secure.
Yeah, it's like many, many layers of notarization and security. And on top of that, you said it makes it so that no one can just pull the plug. And my answer to that is, firstly, yes, it makes it very difficult for anybody to, slow down the network. But if someone were to, for example, let's say, DDoS every single node on the network, or make sure that the network had no notaries or connections at all connected to it, they wouldn't really get your money. Your money would still, once the network continues, which it will, your money will be there. It might just take longer. You know what I mean? So they can't just reach in and take it, is my point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody wanted to, somebody can create their own chain. We're not going to do that because it uses command line interface. But when that launches, are they then able to specify the numbers of coins, the block rewards, the staking rewards?
Yeah. So by default, all chains inherit the 50-50 proof of work, proof of stake. It's called the proof of power Verus algorithm, and it's kind of it's all open source, obviously, and it's all out there for people to use. but we developed it around 2 years ago to solve 50% hash attacks, because you can't take over the network with 50% of the hash rate. You would need over 50% of the supply and over 50% of the network hash rate. And so the staking reward and the mining reward are the same if a network just inherits the code by making their own chain and they don't go in and start tinkering with everything. But they can specify the block rewards. They can specify the emission schedule, so they can specify when they want their halvings to be, how they want their block reward to get decreased or increased over time. They can specify their starting supply. They can specify, if they want, they can do a pre-mine, send some to some people. In addition to that, we have this concept of a pre-launch, where they can specify a certain time by which they need a certain amount of conversions into their currency. And if they don't reach that amount of conversions, then their currency doesn't launch, and everyone gets their initial contributions refunded.
Right.
So there are many different ways to start a chain. There are many different settings on how you could even make your own internal company blockchain if you wanted with PBEX. You wouldn't need to connect it to the rest of the network. It can be used for a secure way to have identities within your company if you don't want other people, So there are many, many thousands of uses. I'm sure I'm missing most of them in my description, but yeah.
Okay, very cool. Then do you want to, while we're waiting, do you want to show us the multiverse?
Oh, sure. This is basically just a place to browse the stuff that's going on the chains that you've added. We have, if you see .moon, for example, it means it's a currency on the Moon chain.
Okay.
It also says the chain.
Whoa, hold on. Let me get my head around this, right?
Okay, no problem.
So you got Verus blockchain,
right?
Which is actually an asset of Komodo, but a separate independent blockchain from Komodo. But
it's a separate chain. I wouldn't say it's an asset of Komodo. It's more like we forked from them with the more traditional style of forking, which is, fork your chain off, fork the code on GitHub, and then start developing your own chain.
Right. Okay. So thank you. And then, then you got Veruscoin, and then Veruscoin's got the ability for people to create lots of independent blockchains that don't create any load on top of the Veruscoin blockchain, like we have with Ethereum, and that each of these newly created blockchains can have their own blockchains created from themselves, which don't create any load on the creative blockchain, and they don't create any load on the Veruscoin blockchain.
Yeah. So first, I want to go back a bit, make a minor correction to what I said, because we did use the Komodo daemon to launch our own chain using their own parameter thing. I don't want to they were actively involved in helping us, and we do owe a lot to them. So I didn't want to kind of brush over their contribution. There's one thing in what you said, which is it's mostly true, except in addition to that, you have currencies that are kind of like tokens on top of Verus. So you have Verus, which is a chain that can have currencies on top of it. And then you also have PBAS chains, which are other chains that have currencies on top of them that can be connected to Verus, but they don't really put much strain on the Verus chain because they're a separate blockchain with their own transactions and all that. And so that's kind of the way that we scale is, at the moment, you cannot have a PBAS chain on top of a PBAS chain on testnet right now. But for our final implementation, that will be something that you'll be able to do. So you'll have, and that's like a really simple limitation. It's not hard to put in. It's just not being tested right now. But on mainnet, we'll have Verus, right? And then PBAS chains on Verus, and then PBAS chains on those PBAS chains, and then PBAS chains on the PBAS chains of the PBAS chains. And then on every single chain, you'll be able to have your own on-chain token currencies, like, test projects, test 55, all these things you see here. Okay.
And all of this, anybody will be able to do without necessarily having any coding knowledge.
Yeah, there's UI work that needs to be done in turning the command line interface into a user-friendly kind of screen, but anybody can make their own currency /chain.
Okay. Okay, very good. Click on the all blockchains window.
Just filter by, okay, these are currencies on MDX. or accessible from MDX, I should say. But these are currencies on Moon. These are currencies on Verus Test.
Right. Now that the Bitcoin, because when it goes on Verus, I won't be able to run Bitcoin on the Veruscoin network, but what I will be able to do is send Bitcoin to an Ethereum bridge, convert it to wrapped BTC, and then send it to the Verus network.
Yeah, so that is what you'll be able to do when we go live on Mainnet. We're going to be testing on testnet with ETH so that'll be something that people will be able to try on their own on testnet as well. But exactly like you said, you'll be able to go from Bitcoin to wrapped Bitcoin to representing your coins on Verus, which will mostly have lower fees than sending it on Ethereum itself. And then in addition to that, you'll be able to do that with any ERC20 token and Ethereum too.
Okay. All right. So then I'd have VWBTC on the Verus network, and then I could have it in a Verus identity.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's talk about identities. While
Sure.
we're waiting for the conversion.